Namaskar. Today we are initiating a new series in the Saraswati Sangam Project offerings, one of Leadership Dialogue series. In this series, we will engage in specific topics of current interest and relevance from the vantage point of the Saraswati Sangam Project mission. Today's conversation between Dr. Srikanth and me is going to revolve around the role of truth seeking in a democracy. Truth seeking, we believe, is very fundamental to a democratic government structure to function for the well being and prosperity of the country, nation, and its citizens. And therefore, it's a very important question to ask from the perspective of how we make outcomes and success to our nation's future goals and achievements possible by our citizens functioning as they must. So, in that line of discussion, I want to ask my first question to Dr. Srikanth about why is it important to talk about truth seeking in the context of a democracy?
Namaste, Aparnaji. Good to be on this discussion with you. Well, to answer your question, I think we need to recognize two things. One is, firstly, unfortunately, it's a fact that we are living in an increasingly polarized world. And the second aspect is this is the age of the information war. So when I spoke about the polarized world, implicit is there are two sides. Now, what one side is doing is in this age of information war, they are indulging in a lot of disinformation and misinformation to build their narrative. And, uh, and in this context, it is very important for every rational person to be willing to do the hard work to not only seek the truth, but also project the truth. Because otherwise, this narrative building, the differential and narrative building that is being done by the one side is going to result in a huge distortion of the facts of the various episodes that are plaguing the world today. So to fight this disinformation and misinformation, it is very critical for people like you and me, rational people, to not only seek the truth, but also to project the truth that we learn to the rest of the world. So, Apanaji, this has actually made me often think about this aspect. Uh, in your opinion, what is the mindset that is required to be able to function as a responsible citizen in a democracy?
Yeah, so actually, you actually picked up the right choice of words when you said being rational. And being rational to a scientifically inclined person is almost a given. And that actually is very close to the Saraswati Sangam Project mission to connect the scientific bent and aptitude and attitude with the dharmic principles and dharmic framework of thought. So the mindset here is very naturally connected with the dharmic frame of truth seeking and being rational in the process of truth seeking. Somehow we have lost the whole underpinning of this rationality and arguing in frame of rationality in finding the fundamental truths of our individual and collective existence. I'm going a little bit philosophical because Hinduism has a very strong philosophical hold that we have lost touch with. And so the mindset really comes to becoming an inquiring mind and an incisive intellect that is grounded in rational frame to be able to sift through the noise and the false narratives, dis and misinformation you talked about, to be able to function as a strong, clear headed, responsible individual and hence citizen. So, if that is the mindset needed in a somewhat normative sense, question is then what is really holding us back from functioning as representative, ideal, responsible citizen in your mind?
Good question, Aparaji. You asked us what is holding us back, and I will answer the question to that us. And I'm a Hindu, and so I will answer that question from that perspective. And particularly as far as Hindus in this country, that is the United States, are concerned, I think it is fairly well accepted that Hindus have arrived in terms of their social status and economic status, etc., etc. But in the process of arrival, what has happened is, as Hindus, we have gotten disconnected from the basic tenets of Hinduism. You know, as a result, if you look at Hinduism, there are four aspects to leading a fulfilling life, and the first of those is dharma. And because we have become disconnected with the basic tenets of Hinduism, and we have become so ensconced in the Western materialistic world that we Hindus are not doing our dharma. We are looking after our individual selves, but I think we have forgotten what our role in the society needs to be today. And I think that we need to rediscover that. I think all of us Hindus need to go back to those basic tenets of understanding Hinduism and understand the four pillars of leading a fulfilling life. And once we do that, I don't think anything can hold us back from being responsible citizen. So, and I'm going to take this question that you asked me a little bit further. And given that we have been conditioned by the Western way of thinking, that we have, today, majority of Hindus have forgotten what the basic tenets of Hinduism is. My question to you is, how do we uncondition ourselves individually and as a society?
Very, very good question. And I think that would also be a good point to bring the message home, so to speak. You talked about four pillars of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which is basically putting forth a very holistic perspective a Hindu's existence is defined by. And the holding back, as you described, has become very much anchored in the middle two words of artha and kam, desiring and acquiring wealth, assets, comfort, and well being that comes from comfort. What we have lost in the conditioning is the holistic perspective of the Hindu Dharma frame of seeking dharma and that guiding you to seeking artha, that guiding you to desire things that are desirable, and that guiding you to the ultimate desire of achieving moksha. So, this lack of a holistic understanding and a deep respect for that, that has held the Hindu society in very good standing over thousands of years, is the process of unconditioning that needs to happen at both individual level, that we understand the message of a holistic, well built life, and then well built society. Because Hindus engaging with each other is not a superficial engaging, whether it is through bhakti, devotion, which is the bhakti yoga, or through gyan, knowledge acquisition. You connect with the society with knowledge givers and devotional pursuits and grow in the process in the multifaceted way. So, societal as well as individual existence is the channels by which we can begin to understand Hinduism in its full spectrum of a holistic life guide in making the progress towards unconditioning. And I would really want to bring this message home for, of course, the Saraswati Sangam Project mission of Sangam, that you see the modern day view of rationality and connect it with the ancient, very holistic, comprehensive knowledge structure of the Hindu Dharma, and the very well known prayer that we sing in every household without perhaps really connecting it with our daily life of Asato Ma Sat Gamaya. Take me away from untruth to truth. And whether we function in our individual spectrum, family spectrum, society, or the governmental role of citizenry that we must play, that should sprout from this prayer. And with that, I think I would want to wrap up this session. This was phenomenal to have this conversation with you, Dr. Shrikant. We will bring many of these very important discussions to be held from the Saraswati Sangam platform, to be able to have this inquisitive but leadership defining dialogues to weigh in on current, contemporary, and current topics.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Aparna.
much.
Thank you, Aparna. I thoroughly enjoyed our discussion today and hoping that our followers and viewers found this useful.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We will hope to see you again sometime very soon with the next episode of the Leadership Dialogue series. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.